Welcome to Spectrum News at 10. I am Emedion James coming to you live from Uyo. Let's take a look at today's headlines. President Tinubu orders security action in Benue State. Tax Governor Hyacinth Alias with reconciliation. Senate pledges electoral reform constitutional review ahead of 2027. Plus, Trump orders increase in migrants deportation. Details of these stories and more in just a moment. Good morning and thank you for staying tuned. We begin the news this morning from a national scene where President Bola Tinubu has issued a firm directive to Nigeria's security chiefs, instructing them to implement his earlier orders to restore peace and order in violence-stricken areas, with particular emphasis on Benue State. Tinubu also tasked the governor of Benue State, Hyacinth Alia, with the urgent responsibility of convening reconciliation meetings among the conflicting groups within the state. This was disclosed in a statement released by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga. According to the statement, President Tinubu called on Governor Alia to urgently initiate dialogue between warring parties, including farmers, herders, and local communities, urging that the purpose of the dialogue is to end the cycle of violence and foster peaceful coexistence. Describing the killings as inhumane and anti-progress, the president urged political and community leaders to refrain from making unguarded statements that could inflame tensions further. He also warned against any proactive action that could escalate the violence. From the red chambers, the Senate has assured Nigerians to look forward to the reform of the electoral system and review of the 1999 Constitution, among others, as the second half of the 10th National Assembly kicks off. The leader of the Senate, Okoyemi Bamidele, stated this in a statement to commemorate the midterm exploit of the legislative institution. According to him, the lawmakers could prioritize reforms of the country's electoral regime to ensure every vote continues to count, guarantees good governance, and make participation in the electoral process more interesting for decent and innocent citizens. Speaking on judicial reforms, the Senate said the National Assembly is equally looking forward to greater judicial reforms in the next 2 years to ensure justice is done transparently and tenaciously. From the judiciary, the Court of Appeal, Lagos Division, has overturned the final forfeiture order issued on the assets of the former governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, to the federal government. In a split decision of 2 to 1, the appellate court set aside the judgment and ordered a retrieval of the case at the lower court. Recall that the Federal High Court in Lagos had, in its ruling on November 1, 2024, granted the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission's application for the final forfeiture of Emefiele's assets. The forfeited assets included two fully detached duplexes located in Lekki Phase 1, Lagos, and undeveloped land measuring 1,919.5 square meters at Ikoyi, a bungalow and a four-bedroom duplex also at Ikoyi, Lagos. Others were an industrial complex under construction in Akpo, Delta State, 8 units of uncompleted apartments on a plot measuring 2,457.6 square meters at Ikoyi, Lagos, and a fully detached duplex on a plot measuring 2,217.8 square meters at Bank Road, Ikoyi, Lagos. Additionally, the court ordered the forfeiture of $2.4 million and share certificate in Quinterfor Global Fund Limited to the federal government. Away from that, the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, has called for the expedited delivery of 12 AH-1Z Viper attack helicopters being acquired from the United States. He stated that their timely arrival was critical to enhance Nigeria's ongoing counter-terrorism and internal security operations. A statement by the NIA spokesperson, Air Commando Ejodame, said Abubakar during a high-level program management review meeting in San Diego, California, United States, stressed that the Nigerian Air Force was committed to ensuring that every necessary step was taken to fast-track the procurement and seamless integration of the combat helicopters. He said the meeting brought together top officials of the US government and representatives of Bell Textron, manufacturers of the AH-1Z Viper, to review progress on the helicopter deal and fine-tune implementation timelines. In another development, Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project (SERAP) has urged President Bola Tinubu to promptly set up a presidential panel of inquiry to investigate the unlawful annulment of the election of June 12, 1993, and to identify those suspected to be responsible for the deliberate violations of Nigeria's democratic freedoms. Serap urged Tinubu to direct the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi-San, as a defender of public interest to bring to justice anyone responsible for the unlawful annulment of the elections of June 12, 1993, regardless of the political status or affiliation. They also directed Fagbemi to urgently draft and send to the National Assembly an executive bill to amend the Electoral Act 2022, including making electronic transmission of election results mandatory and allowing access of every voter to election documents. Recall that the President, in his speech at the National Assembly to mark Nigeria Democracy Day, expressed commitment to rededicate themselves to the ideals of June 12: freedom and transparent and accountable government, social justice, active citizens' participation, and a just society where no one is oppressed. In a letter signed by SERAP Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadara, the organization said this express commitment will not be enough unless President Tinubu's government demonstrates political will to combat impunity for the annulment of the June 12 elections and advance Nigeria's democratic freedoms. Let's move now to Africa, where South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has arrived in Calgary for the Group of Seven summit. The G7 meeting is taking place this week at Kananaskis in Canadian Rockies, with leaders of the biggest economies arriving today. The summit is overshadowed by an escalating conflict between Israel and Iran and US President Donald Trump's unresolved trade war with allies and rivals alike. Reports say the war in Ukraine will also be on the agenda. On the foreign scene, US President Donald Trump has ordered an expansion of the detention and deportation of migrants across the country as protests against his policies continues. In a post, Trump called on federal agencies to do all in their power to deliver the single largest mass deportation program in history, naming Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York as specific targets. Trump has faced legal challenges and criticism for his response to the protests, particularly his deployment of the military to quell the demonstrations. Trump said he had directed the entire administration to put every resources possible behind this effort. He also promised to prevent anyone who undermines the the domestic tranquility of the United States from entering the country. Still on the foreign scene, strikes by Israel and Iran continues as the conflict between the two countries intensifies. It comes after Israel attacked Iran, hitting nuclear facilities, military sites, and populated areas. However, Iran has responded with drones and ballistic missiles. US President Donald Trump says the two sides should make a deal, adding that calls and meetings are taking place as the escalation stretches into the fourth day. On his part, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the issue is not de escalation, but stopping Iran from developing its nuclear capabilities. According to report, at least 128 people have been killed in Israeli attacks, while 10 Israelis were killed in Iranian strikes overnight. Still to come in the news. Bayern Munich defeat Auckland City in Cincinnati to set club World Cup record with biggest ever win. Stay tuned for details of this in just a moment. Thanks for staying tuned. On our business news, the federal government has called for deeper collaborations with the United Nations Human Settlement Program on Habitat as it prepares to implement the newly approved National Urban Development Policy. According to a statement, Minister of Housing and Urban Development Ahmed Dangiwa has called for deeper collaboration and implementation support from inhabitants as Nigerians enters a crucial phase in operationalizing its newly reviewed National Urban Development Policy. Tangiwa lauded the agency for its technical support policy and appealed for sustained partnership as Nigeria transitions from policy formulation to implementation. The newly approved National Urban Development Policy, passed last week by the Federal Executive Council, is designed to serve as a strategic framework for guiding Nigerians' urban growth in alignment with international standards. Still in business, Dangote Petroleum Refinery has announced the free distribution of petrol and diesel to marketers, dealers, and other large users across the country. In a statement, the Lagos based refinery said the initiative would commence on the 15th day of August 2025. The refinery also said it has procured 4,000 brand new compressed natural gas CNG powered tankers for takeoff of the initiative, adding that it has also invested in compressed natural gas stations, commonly referred to as daughter postal stations, supported by a fleet of over 100 CNG tankers across the country to ensure seamless product distribution. Meanwhile, the strategic program is part of Dangote's refinery's broader commitment to eliminating logistics costs, enhancing energy efficiency, promoting sustainability, and supporting Nigeria's economic development. On a health news, eye specialists have given reasons why babies can be born with cataracts or develop the condition. The specialist said pregnant women with uncontrolled diabetes and other metabolic diseases may give birth to babies with cataract, though there were other causes of congenital cataract in children. The expert said it was important for pregnant women to have good antenatal care to reduce the risk of pregnancy complications that could affect the eyes of their babies when they are born. Besides diabetes in pregnancy, the specialist also disclosed that certain infections in pregnancies, like rubella, can lead to a woman giving birth to a child with cataract, while advising teenage girls to go for the rubella vaccination. He also noted that cataract in children could either be acquired by birth or after birth, warning that any injury to the eye could cause cataract in children. We move now to sports where Bundesliga's champions Bayern Munich has defeated Auckland City in Cincinnati to record the biggest win in the history of the Club World Cup. Vincent's company's side outclassed the New Zealand part-timers with Jamel Musiala scoring a hat-trick and Thomas Muller grabbing two goals as his long farewell to the club continued. Bayer took the lead through Kingsley Coman's 6-minute header as the floodgates opened early. Sasha Boye large home commands knocked out on half volley to double Bayer's advantage 12 minutes later, and former Crystal Palace man Michael Olise turned in Muller's cross at the far post to make it 3-0. Bayer scored their 10th with 2 minutes remaining as Muller converted Serge Gnabry's cross. Meanwhile, the victories comfortably surpassed the previous biggest win at the Club World Cup, Al Hilali's 6-1 win over Al Jazeera in 2022. Still in sport, at least four teams have qualified for the quarterfinals of the ongoing European Under-21 Championship in Slovenia. This follows the conclusion of Sunday's Euro Under-21 group stage fixture. Germany and Denmark became the latest country to advance to the last eight stage after recording victories against Czechia and Netherlands respectively. Germany defeated Czechia 4-2, while Denmark won 2-1 against the Netherlands. To join Germany, Denmark, Spain, and Italy in the last eight would be confirmed after the conclusion of the final group stage fixture on Wednesday. The quarter-final stage will take place on 21 and 22 of June, and only four teams will advance to the semi-finals. On our entertainment news, Nigerian Afrobeat singer David Adelake, popularly known as Davido, has pulled out of his joint Tottenham Hotspur Stadium concert with American stars 50 Cent and Mary Blige. Davido announced via his Instagram story that he has withdrawn from the concert scheduled for 3rd July 2025 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, England. He explained that his withdrawal was due to the failure of the curators of iconic presents resolve issues concerning key elements required to uphold the integrity and quality of his performance. The video also hinted at the issue of discrimination, demanding respect for African creatives. It therefore promised his London fans a show in the summer for the Europe stop of his Five Alive tour. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 10. I am Emedion James. Enjoy the rest of the day and thank you for watching.